Well, I will tell y'all that it is my joy to be here tonight. This is my home church. I see a lot of familiar faces, but I see a lot of people that I don't know. And I'm so excited to see this room full and that the church is growing. That this is my home church. This is the church I grew up in. This is a church that we were here every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday, and every other time the door was open, we were here. It's where I went to GAs. It's where I learned everything. So when Mr. Tom Cumming asked me to speak about Mother's Day, I thought, oh yay, I get to talk to moms. And I didn't know we were going to have so many men, and I've got to edit my speech because I was going to be talking about some men and some things, but I'm giving some secrets away, so I've got to edit it.
Good topics, huh?
I will behave for you. But on Mother's Day set aside to honor moms. And so I got to thinking this morning in my quiet time about moms and about what being a mother meant and how did I learn to be a mother and now grandmother. And so I thought the way I learned to be a mother was starting in church. Isn't that right? And when you come to a church like Lee, then you have a bunch of mothers, right? Because children are raised in a village, and this was our village here. And mothers here didn't hesitate to get on to you whether you were your child, their child, or not. And they were expected to. And we grew up saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and yes, sir, and no, sir. And as those of you that don't know, we moved to Orlando 7 years ago. I live in Kissimmee. And people were like, how do you stand it down there? And the truth is, we love it. I'm shocked that I like it so much because I moved from the smallest incorporated town in the state of Florida to Kissimmee. I'll tell y'all some funny things that have happened to me while I was there. I was there maybe a year or so, and I was at the deli one day ordering something, and the lady behind the counter said, yes, ma'am, I'll take some of that roast beef. Thank you, yes, ma'am. And I got done, and she was Spanish. It's a big Spanish population down there, and she leaned over and she tapped me on the hand, and she said, you're so nice. I said, thank you. She said, where'd you from? You got an accent. And I said, Florida? And she said, no, honey, you got an accent. You're not from Florida. And I said, yeah, I am. Have you looked at the map? Because Florida's in the south, and I think I'm the only one around here without an accent. And so then she started calling all her little Spanish friends over there. And I said, now where are you from? She said, Puerto Rico. And I said, well, then I'm not the one with the accent. Everybody in Kissimmee thinks I have an accent. And I don't get that, because I just tell them I'm from Florida. Where y'all from? And they're from New York and New Jersey and Puerto Rico and everywhere else in the world. And I will tell you, after I moved there and I came back to church, one Sunday I was sitting there and I was explaining to Miss June. I don't know if Miss June remembers this. I've never forgotten it. She said, well, tell me about the church you're going to down there. And I said, oh, Miss June, I love my church. It's called the Vine. It's a small church like this. I said, there's people there, though, from everywhere. I am actually the minority because I'm one of the oldest people in the church. And I'm one of the few people that was raised in church because there are a lot of people down there that are unchurched or de-churched that are coming back. And we have a lot of former Catholics in our church. And I said, you know, we have people from all over South America and Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. We have people from Africa. We have people from everywhere. And Miss Jean said, that's just like heaven's going to be. And that is how, when I went from here to there, what that's been for me is it's just broadened my horizon so much deeper. But I want to go back to how I learned to be a mother. And I learned to be a mother in this church and growing up at home. Now, y'all, everybody knows that Corrine's my mom. And we learned some lessons from that. I want to tell you, today I texted her grandchildren and asked them and her children to say to me, give me some nannyisms, things that my mama says that I can use tonight at my speech. And 3 of the grandchildren texted me back and said, you couldn't say it in church. So I had to come up with those stuff. So I want to share some lessons that I learned growing up in my household. And see if you, and I know y'all are the same thing. The first thing that I learned was about grooming. When Marsha and I were growing up, we were probably the only blonde-haired children in Madison County with afros. And when we smelled a Tony Home perm, we started crying. Because we knew what was coming. Now, those of you that don't know what Tony, how many of you remember Tony Home perm? We have pictures of us with our little blonde-haired afros. I see something in there. Do you remember that? And then as Mom would comb out going, oh, and tears flowing. She would say, Marcia, remember what she'd say?
It hurts to be pretty.
So I grew up thinking that when I got to be an adult, that if I wanted to wear makeup and dress nice, it could hurt. The other thing Mama taught us about was about discipline. And how many of you had your mother say to you, I'll give you something to cry about? How about this one? I don't see a tear in that eye. Did your mom ever say that to you? We'd be squalling. She felt a tear in that eye. And then as we kept on growing up, and we got to be teenagers, my mama's words of advice to us about who to hang around, because teenagers, you know, like to hang around certain people, was, if you lay with dogs, you're going to get fleas. Now, translated, that meant don't hang with the bad kids. And we knew that's what it meant. And then as we started dating, and we were getting more serious in our relationships, our advice was, why buy the cow when you can get the milk free? The word sexual purity never came out of my mama's mouth, but it was why buy the cow when you can get the milk free, and we knew what that meant. And then as we got more serious and started dating the men who would become our husbands, my mama would say, now if you make your bed hard, you're going to lie in it. Y'all ever heard that one? And the best advice she ever gave me when I got married was, don't let the sun set on your anger. And I have never forgotten that advice. And still to this day, I can tell you, and I've been married to my husband now for, Lord, how long have I been married? I could say 37 years. And we have never gone to bed angry at each other. We just stay up and fight all night. That was the other thing. When I met my husband, I met John on a blind date. And I was teaching school in Thomasville when I met him. And I happened to be home that week because I worked in a tobacco warehouse in the summer. And I stayed at Mama's when I came home, and I was at home, and I went on my blind date, and she was waking up when I came in, and she said, how was your blind date? And I said, well, you know, I think I'm going to marry you. Now, I can't repeat what she said. But, you know, she realized that we were serious about it. And we did get married. We knew each other 9 weeks from the day we got married, and we were married 37 years. And I think I'm going to keep him because I got him trained. The other thing that my mama said to us all the time was, do as I say, do.
Not as I do.
Now, that wasn't very good advice, was it? No. It was terrible advice, because you don't want your children, because here's what I found out being a parent now, that is that more is caught than is taught. And that your actions do speak louder than words. But the best thing that I saw my mom and my daddy do was love each other. And that's how I learned to be a good parent. And the other thing that I forgot, can't tell you all this, in grooming that my mama taught me was that a mother's spit will clean anything. It will clean stains, permanent markers, mud, it cleans anything. And when we were growing up, before they had germs, everybody said in the church would clean you, because you would be walking by and some mama would see what yours, and she'd say, come here, man. And get right, please. I found myself doing that to my own children. And that works real good till one day I met a real Southern mom, and I was an adult. I was married, and I had children, and I was at the grocery store, Piggly Wiggly in Valdosta, and I was standing in line, and if you get close enough to me, you can see that I have a freckle right here on the end of my nose. And that day, I guess I didn't have any makeup on or something, because this woman said, oh, honey, you've got something on the end of your nose. And I went, it's a freckle. Oh, my Lord, that woman was going to spit on my face. She must be your mom. I'll tell you that in my household, and in the household that we grew up in, there was no doubt that my daddy was the head of the house. That spiritual is what it was supposed to be, but